Hi there and welcome back to Cooking with Fleur. We will be making the beginnings of our dinner party today. If you haven't seen the previous video, how to plan a dinner party, please go to the link and watch that first. Right, let's start cooking. Preparing right now is a vanilla bavarois or Bavarian cream. It's a set pudding basically made over the stove with some eggs and some cream and some milk. Absolutely delicious. Now I have an original recipe, absolutely stunning. This is Anton Escoffier. A lot of his a lot of our cooking nowadays is based on his recipes. However, his recipe calls for 16 egg yolks. It makes it super creamy and fantastic, but I'm not going to be using his particular recipe. There's only 3 of us having this dinner, so we are going to be using my own recipe. Very similar, and it's based on other recipes that you may find out there. So the first thing we do is I've got 300 milliliters of milk here. I'm going to put this in my saucepan, adding to that some vanilla extract. You could put vanilla beans in here or vanilla paste. I don't have either at hand, so it does need to be vanilla, so I'm going to put a good amount of a whole cupful of vanilla extract into the saucepan. It is much more beautiful if you do have your vanilla pods, because you get all the little black speckles running through your final result. Now this I'm going to bring to a boiling point, and as it starts scalding the milk, we have to kind of take it off and mix it into our egg yolks, which our egg yolks we are also going to be putting on the stove over a pot of what's going to be simmering water. It's called a bain-marie or a water bath. Over here I have 6 egg yolks. As soon as this comes up to a simmer, I'm going to put this on top here. You can use any bowl really that will be sitting above the water level, so you don't want this bowl to be touching the actual water. Also, you want this simmering, you don't want it boiling. Now to these egg yolks I'm going to add 60 grams of sugar. So it's really quite a basic recipe. 300 ml of milk, 6 egg yolks, 60 grams of sugar, and later on we will finish it off with 300 ml of whipped cream. Also added to this will be 3 gelatin leaves. So everything is 3s and 6s with some 0s. Right, that goes in here, and I'm now going to get going by the stove. Okay, so my pot of simmering water is busy starting to simmer, so I've got to get going there quite quickly. I'm going to whisk those egg yolks with the 60 grams of, in this case, caster sugar, until it becomes really nice and thick. And just be sure that you continuously whisk, because otherwise your egg mixture might just curdle or split. In the meantime, I have some beautiful gelatine leaves here, and they are going to be soaked in some cold water, please not hot water, and they need to sit in here for about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so I've been whisking this for about 5 minutes now. It's really becoming a really nice, thick, creamy emulsion, and I'm waiting for the milk with the vanilla to come up to a boiling point. It's nearly there. The moment we have it there, that will be added to this egg and sugar mixture. See how beautifully thick that is? Now it's time to take this off the stove. We don't want it to split. Right, so this has literally just come up to a boil, and I'm going to whisk this into the egg mixture. So now I'm going to put this back on a simmering heat. This is the point where you've got to be really careful. You don't want your mixture splitting. This is almost a foolproof way if you continuously whisk to avoid your mixture splitting. If you would, you can do it directly in a pan, but I don't recommend it unless you really know what you're doing and you don't have any interruptions. So this is the point where I'm going to squeeze out my gelatine leaves and add this. Like I said, they've been going for 5 to 10 minutes. They're all really gelatinous, so I'm going to squeeze that all out. And that then goes straight into here. You can use powdered gelatine as well if you prefer. I just happen to have the leaves here. And we're going to stir this, whisk it until all of the gelatine is dissolved. You'll find that this mixture is still thickening up a little bit more. So give this another few minutes, guys, about 3, maybe 4 minutes. Let's just watch it very carefully. You'll see when it starts really thickening up, and that's the point that you take it off. You can really see it's just thickened up, just really starting to get to that point that's thick enough. What I've done is I've prepared a ice water bath that I can snugly sit this into, just to make it cool down a little bit quicker. The gelatine's all dissolved. Absolutely stunning. Right, so I'm going to leave the whisk in so that I can continue whisking it up a little bit. And I'm going to just sit it in there. Now, if you see it's floating a little bit, either remove a little bit of the water or just be really careful. I'm just going to take a bit of the water out. Yes, so that this touches the base of the water. Also be really careful that you don't get water inside of this mixture. So now you see the steam all coming up. Give this a whisk every few minutes just to cool it down. Thereafter I'm going to pass it through a chinois into 300 ml of whipped up cream. Okay, so now we want to prepare our molds. I have here some Gario molds. If you don't have these, you can put them in a ramekin. You can put actually the whole lot in one dish if it's a family serving. Because we're doing a dinner party, we're doing individual servings. So this is what I've got. What I'm doing here is I'm just oiling them. I'll take my caster sugar and I just scoop it like so, and then you just go around. And that's what you want to look at. So you just finish these all off. They've all been oiled already. Okay, so our mixture has been cooling down sufficiently. I'm going to pass it through a chinois, which is actually just an extra little measure to prevent any curdled bits you might have. Now, a lot of people won't have one of these items. You can use a sieve, but just make sure that your mixture is cool enough. So this just gets passed through here. And that's that. So this beautiful egg custard mixture with our gelatine, we will be mixing into 300 ml of whipped up cream. As you can see, it's not very, very stiffly whipped up. The gelatine will make sure that this all sits beautifully. Give that a gentle mixture or mix. Stir, get it all nicely incorporated. Try not to make too much mess. Traditionally, this is just a simple vanilla plain Bavarian cream. You can make this into layers. You can make chocolate flavored ones. You can add a fruit puree to it. Beautiful is also, if you were to now split this mixture into 2 mixtures, is you pour some in your mold, maybe 3/4 of the way up or halfway, and you mix the remaining mixture with like a strawberry fruit puree or whatever, and then you layer them like that. It's absolutely fantastic. So there's so much you can do. I'm going to pour these into their molds now. Okay, so I have filled my 6 stereo molds and 1 larger pudding mold, and this is now going to sit in the fridge. It has to stay refrigerated. I would suggest a minimal of 6 hours and otherwise overnight. And then we will turn them out and serve them with our beautiful ice cream that I'm going to show you next. Okay, so our vanilla bavarois or Bavarian cream is in the fridge. It's busy sitting as we speak. Now what we're going to do next is our ice cream and thereafter our biscuits. That means We have to do this the day ahead of time, the day before our actual dinner party. Not 2 days before, 1 day before, but you need to get the most difficult or complex things out of the way, and also the things that can be prepared ahead of time, so that when tomorrow comes, we actually have time in the morning to set our table, to prepare the rest of the foods and get it all going. So, without further ado, we are now going to make an Earl Grey infused ice cream. Again, we are making a custard-based dessert. It's this one I'm not going to put over a double boiler like we did with the Bavarian cream. And right now I want to show you what's going to happen. Again, here I have 6 egg yolks. To that I'm going to add about 90 grams of sugar. And because I'm not doing this over a double boiler, I'm going to add a flat level tablespoon of cornstarch. This is going to prevent your mixture from curdling. So mix that all into a little bit of a paste. Okay, so what's been happening in this pot over here, I have put together 300 ml of cream and 300 ml of milk. I've added to that 4 tea bags of Earl Grey tea. I brought it up to the boil, I switched the stove off, and that's been infusing for a good 20 minutes now. So what I want to do here with this egg is I first want to whisk it up a little bit more to get it thick. Okay, so that's a little bit thicker than it was now. Now I'm going to strain in our tea mixture. I'm using a sieve here. You can again use the chinois if you have that. This is just important in case one of your tea bags broke, which in my case one of them did. So the remaining little bits and bobs of tea actually stay behind in the sieve over there. Now I have to say that this has cooled down already a little bit, that tea mixture, tea cream and milk mixture. I'm now going to put it back on the stove and I'm going to continuously stir until it becomes a nice thick, smooth emulsion. Okay, so I've literally been whisking this over a medium to low heat for 3 minutes, and have a look on how beautifully it's thickened up. Have a look at how beautifully this is now thickened up. It's really stunning. I'm going to have a taste as well. That is really beautiful. Really, really, really stunning. This is now going to go in a freezer container. Okay, so I've put this in a freezer container. I'm going to have to let this cool down first. So I'm going to still give it a whisk every now and again until it's cold enough to put in my freezer. Then I will leave it to freeze solidly for at least 2.5 to 3 hours. We will break all the potential ice crystals up and then blend it all till smooth again and stick it back in our freezer. You do not need an ice cream machine for this. This recipe is just beautiful and gorgeous and creamy and actually so simple to make. Right, and we're back again. This is sufficiently cooled down. This is now going straight into the freezer. This is our lovely Earl Grey ice cream to be. I've tasted it. It tastes absolutely stunning. And so there we are. Now you can make any of these type of flavored ice creams using tea. So if you prefer having a rooibos flavor, then by all means add that. Anyway, that's now going in the freezer. Now we are going to be making poppy seed twill biscuits. Traditionally they are done with almonds, blanched slivered almonds or blanched sliced almonds. I wanted to give it a little bit of a twist. I think that the poppy seeds are going to go beautifully well with the Bavarian cream and the ice cream that we've just made. Now if you remember, we used 6 egg yolks for both recipes, 6 each. So I have left over 12 egg whites here. We only need 2, so I'm just kind of using a chef's measure here and hoping for about 2 egg whites. I'm going to add to that my poppy seeds. This is about 15 grams, so a flat tablespoonful. To that I'm also going to add 110 grams of caster sugar, a dash of vanilla extract. This I'm going to whisk all together Okay, so this is now slightly frothy. It's by no means really stiffly beaten up. I'm going to now sift in 55 grams of all-purpose flour, plain flour. And that can just all be mixed into there. Okay, so I've made this mixture. It looks kind of like this. I'm going to drop teaspoonfuls on 3 greased baking trays that I've got prepared. They must be well spaced apart, these twill biscuits, because they're going to spread. And what we want the final effect to be, it only takes about 6 minutes in the oven. Now I've preheated the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. They really don't take very long. We want them to spread out and have a slightly golden brown rim around the edge of this biscuit. Yeah, that's the effect we're looking for. Right, I've just taken the twills out of the oven. They've literally had 5.5 to 6 minutes. They have all spread nicely. They're golden brown around the rims. I'm just leaving them to cool for about a minute. They're actually cool enough to the touch. Now there's several ways of doing things with this. You can actually leave them to cool completely like that, and then you've got a flat biscuit. Another nice thing you can do is when they are ready to come off, you can use a palette knife, or I'm using in this case is anything flat. Yeah, that's now pliable enough. I'm going to put this over a little container such as this and just shape it whilst it cools down. This now creates a small little nest. And wait for them to cool like that, or if you want them just plain flat, leave them like that. Otherwise, if you make bigger ones, put them over a rolling pin and you can get this beautiful little effect. I don't want the rolling pin today. I only actually need 3 baskets. However, because there's only 3 of us for our dinner party, however, make extra. You never know what happens. Maybe 1 or 2 of them just get cracked, whatever. So I always suggest making a few extras. The rest of the biscuits I'm going to leave just plain. They will store very nicely in an airtight container for up to a whole week. And I've got kids and I love coffee, so this is what we're going to do. Okay, so I only need 3 of these, not more than that, but just in case they might crack or whatever. And look, they set quite quickly. This makes a beautiful little basket just to put the ice cream in. Now, the remaining I just put in a Tupperware container. These as well, they've all cooled down enough now. They've made beautiful little shapes. Okay, so we've done enough now cooking for today. We are well prepared to continue still today if we have time. There's the tureen of salmon that we're still going to make and a soup. However, we don't have to do this today. We can do this first thing tomorrow morning. It will set on time. The soup is quite simple and easy to do, and then we just have a few extra things to prepare. So hereby, please like and subscribe this video. I'm very excited to share with you the rest of the food that we're going to be doing. And also I'm going to show you how to set up the dinner table, make our drinks, welcoming drinks, and also our selection of drinks to go with certain foods. I'm very excited about all of this. Like, subscribe, have a fantastic day further. See you soon.